Hi guys, it's Jeff here from the Authentic channel. Seeing as my channel is about authenticity, I thought I'd make a video today about what it is that I mean when I talk about living authentically. Have you ever noticed that there are lots of people who go through life putting on different masks for the different people who they come across? There are loads of people around who are like this. You could be someone who has a different self when you go to work, a different self when you come home to your family, a different self when you're with your friends. I used to be one of these people, and living in this way sucks. So why is it that there are so many people who choose to live their lives in this way? Why is it that there are so many people who choose to go through lives putting on these different masks? Well, I think, having been someone like this myself in the past, I think it comes back to neediness. I think it comes back to wanting other people to like you. So always putting on the mask that seems to be the most socially appropriate in a given situation. Um, and that sort of needy behavior is only going to make you very unhappy in the long run. So today I want to offer you a different way of living your life. I want to encourage you to try and live more authentically. And I want to explain what I mean when I talk about living authentically. So you'll often hear religious people speak about the soul, and I've got religious friends who, I'm not religious myself, I've got religious friends who sometimes talk about speaking from the soul. When you read about psychology, there's this term that often gets bandied around called the true self, and you get told, um, try to act more like your true self, or try to let your true self um, take over how it is that you're supposed to be acting. Um, these are both ways of saying be more authentic. The soul for me and the true self, they're one and the same thing. So in essence, authenticity is a way of living that says, I'm going to be true to my values no matter the situation. So what does this look like in practice? Well, say you're stuck in a soul-destroying corporate job that you absolutely hate. Um, and in all your spare time, you spend working on this fantastic passion of yours, um, that it's all you ever read about, it's all you ever talk about with your friends. You basically live for this particular passion. Well, it's clear in that situation that whilst it's going to be challenging to leave your job and it might be financially very difficult, especially in the early stages, the authentic thing to do would be to really follow that passion and see where it leads you, see if there's a way of making some money from it. So another example of living authentically, which is something I see all the time in friends, in clients, you often see people who are stuck in relationships that they deep down on a gut, on an intuition level, they know that is bad for them. You see people going out on first and second dates where they've got reservations. This is not a way to live life authentically. If you deep down are aware that someone you are dating or someone who you're living with, it can be a friend, it can be whoever, it can be a boss. Listen to your emotions. They're there for a reason. They're telling you something. This is very difficult to do. It's easy for me to say these things, but I've I've experienced great challenges in my life when I've tried to live by these principles. It requires great courage. Something you'll notice when you start living in this way is that you become a very brave individual because you are perpetually rejecting people. Living authentically, it's a beautiful act of self-love because what you're ultimately saying to the world is, this is who I am, flaws and all, and I'm not going to self-censor just so that you like me. I'm going to live in this way because this is how I want to live. And if you reject me, that's okay. That's okay. So, having explained what authenticity is and explained some of the benefits you might be able to experience in your life by living in this way, I want to address a few misunderstandings that often come up when I talk about this topic with people in my life. The first is that you don't need to disclose absolutely everything to everybody all the time. This is what's known in psychology as verbal vomit and is universally unattractive. So, an example would be um, you might go to a bar and meet a member of the opposite sex. You may have had a very challenging childhood. You may have done a lot of sort of processing and a lot of inner work and come to the conclusion that, say, for the sake of argument, that you were abused by your parents. So when you meet someone for the first time, you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're telling them absolutely everything about yourself. Um, you'll just end up turning people off. This isn't a good idea. It's also, living authentically is not an excuse to go around abusing people. Um, I have seen cases, for example, where two sides in a relationship spoke openly about the value of honesty, and then one person started verbally abusing the other, calling her a slut, for example, um, and then defended it um, by saying, but we agreed that we were going to be honest to each other all the time, and we were always going to tell each other what we think. This isn't authentic. Um, Authenticity shouldn't be used as an excuse for abusing people. That's the very opposite of the spirit of authenticity. Um, and finally, authenticity is not a way to control people. It's not a way to manipulate someone. If you if you live your truth and you tell people who you are as a person and they don't like you, don't come running to me or anybody else you might speak with about authenticity and say, um, why is this happening to me? You said if I lived authentically, everything in my life would be solved. All my problems would be gone. This isn't the case at all. The whole point with authenticity is that you are the person you are, and you you don't control how other people. You can't control how other people react to that. If people like you for you, that's great. If people choose not to like you, that's fine. And part of learning to become an adult is learning to accept that with grace and dignity. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and share the video with anyone you think might benefit.